Have you ever longed to hear God's voice clearly, cutting through the noise of life, guiding you with peace and purpose, but wondered how to make it happen? I've been there, and I'm so excited to share how Psalm 46 became my key to tuning in. And it can be yours too. Imagine this. I'm lost in a whirlwind of decisions and doubts, desperate for direction, when I turn to this powerful scripture, and suddenly his voice breaks through, calm and clear, like a light in the fog. This isn't just a nice thought. It's a practical way to connect with God every morning, one that's transformed how I listen and live. In this video, we're exploring it together, my journey, the beauty of Psalm 46, and a prayer to help you hear him. Have you ever felt like his voice is just out of reach? Stay with me, because by the end you'll have a simple, powerful tool to start your day hearing him clearly right now. We're diving into what I've learned, this life-changing psalm, and the steps to make it real for you, morning by morning. So grab your coffee, open your heart, and let's begin this devotional journey together. Are you ready to hear God's voice? Let's get started. A few years ago, I was desperate to hear God's voice, but it felt like static, like I was spinning a radio dial with no signal. Life was loud and messy then. I'd just lost my job, a stable position I'd held for years, when the company downsized, leaving me with a thin savings account and a stack of bills. At home, tension simmered. My spouse and I argued over money, and I'd lie awake staring at the ceiling, wondering what to do next. I'd pray, sometimes shouting, sometimes whispering, "God, where are you? Tell me something, anything." But all I got was silence, or worse, my own racing thoughts drowning out any chance of hearing him. I'd sit on my porch, coffee in hand, begging for direction, but it felt like he was a million miles away. I wasn't just lost, I was frustrated. Why couldn't I hear him when I needed him most? One morning, the desperation hit a peak. I'd spent another sleepless night, my mind churning. Take a risky job offer, move to cut costs, give up. I stumbled to the kitchen, bleary-eyed, and grabbed my Bible off the counter, more out of habit than hope. It fell open to Psalm 46, and my eyes landed on verse 10. "Be still, and know that I am God." It stopped me like a hand on my shoulder. I read the whole chapter, God as refuge, strength, a river of gladness, and that one line echoed, "Be still." I'd been so busy pleading, worrying, scrambling, I hadn't stopped to listen. So I tried it. I sat there, coffee cooling, and prayed, slow and quiet, "Lord, I'm still, speak to me." I waited, not rushing, just breathing, and felt this nudge, soft but clear. "Trust me today." It wasn't a booming voice, but it was him. I knew it. That day I turned down the risky job. Something in that stillness said no, and instead, I called an old colleague. She said, "Oh, we're hiring, part-time but steady. Come in tomorrow." I did, and it bridged the gap. Enough to pay bills while I figured things out. That night I sat with Psalm 46 again, amazed. It wasn't a fix for everything. Money was tight, tension lingered, but that still moment let me hear him, guiding me one step forward. Over the next weeks, I kept it up, mornings with that verse, silencing the noise. One day my spouse and I talked, no arguing, just listening, and started rebuilding. Another, a better job opened, one I'd have missed if I'd panicked. That stillness wasn't empty. It was where his voice lived. Here's what I learned, and I want you to try it. God's voice comes clear when you stop and listen. Psalm 46 shows you how. That frantic morning, I was a mess, but being still opened my ears. If you're straining to hear him, do this. Tomorrow find 5 minutes before the day roars. Open to Psalm 46:10. Read it slow and pray. Lord, I'm still, speak to me. Wait 30 seconds, a minute, expecting him. Write what comes, a thought, a feeling. He's there. Have you ever thought he's waiting for your stillness? For me, it was a kitchen table and a verse that cut through the chaos. You can start there too. Just one pause, one prayer, and hear him guide you. That first morning with Psalm 46:10, "Be still, and know that I am God," opened my ears to God's voice, guiding me through a job loss with a peace I hadn't known. But keeping that clarity wasn't easy. Distractions kept muddying the signal. Life didn't slow down after that initial breakthrough. Bills still loomed. My new part-time job demanded focus, and family stress bubbled up, arguments over schedules. Little things turning big. I'd try to start my morning still, sitting with that verse. But the world crept in fast. My phone would buzz. Texts, emails, news alerts, and before I knew it, I'd be scrolling, planning, worrying, the stillness gone. Other days my mind betrayed me. I'd sit to pray, but thoughts raced. What if this job ends too? What about tomorrow? I'd hear him one day clear. Like that nudge to call my colleague, then miss him the next. Lost in noise. Have you ever tasted his voice only to feel it slip through your fingers when life gets loud? Those distracted mornings threw me off. I'd rush out the door, half prayed, and the day would unravel, snapping at my spouse over a misplaced key, fumbling at work because I hadn't centered myself. One day I skipped it entirely, overslept, dashed to a meeting, and came home drained, feeling distant from God. I'd sit at night, Bible closed, frustrated. Why can't I hear you like before? It wasn't doubt in him. I'd felt his guidance, but in me, my ability to stay tuned. The stillness worked when I gave it space, but distractions were relentless. Phone pings, mental chatter, the pull of a busy life. I wanted his voice daily, not just in rare quiet moments, but it felt like I was fighting a losing battle against the clamor. Then I found a way to hold it steady, right back in Psalm 46. One evening, after a distracted day, I read the whole chapter again. Not just verse 10, and verse 1 grabbed me. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Ever-present, not just in perfect silence, but in the mess too. I realized I didn't need a flawless morning. I needed to anchor in him, noise or not. So I adjust. Each day, I'd start with a breath, phone off, eyes closed, and pray the whole psalm, slow. You're my refuge, my strength. Be present now. I'm still, speak. If distractions hit, an email, a worry, I'd pause, repeat it. You're here, ever present, help me here. I'd keep a notebook, jotting one word he gave: trust, wait, rest, something to carry. Even rushed, I'd whisper it in the car. Be still, I know you're God. It worked. His voice broke through, steady and clear. One morning my spouse called, upset about a bill. I'd prayed it, heard peace, and responded calm. We sorted it together. Another day, work through a curveball, a last-minute task. I'd written strength, leaned on it and powered through. Distractions didn't stop. Phones buzzed. Thoughts wandered. But Psalm 46 became my filter, tuning me to him. Have you ever thought his voice could cut through your chaos, not just wait for it to clear? For me, that shift from chasing silence to claiming his presence made hearing him a daily gift, not a fragile moment. Here's how you can do it. Don't wait for quiet, anchor in his presence. With Psalm 46. Tomorrow, start 5 minutes, phone us, pray it. God, my refuge, my strength, be here. I'm still, speak. If noise creeps in, repeat it. He's ever present. Write one word he gives. Try it a week, full prayer or quick whisper. That's what kept his voice clear for me, and it'll tune yours too. Just one psalm every morning. You've walked with me through that desperate morning when Psalm 46:10, "Be still and know that I am God." First let me hear God's voice, guiding me past job loss with a clear nudge. You've seen how distractions threaten that clarity. And Psalm 46:1, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help kept it steady," tuning me to him even in the noise. But there's more, a deeper truth I uncovered that's made this more than a listening tool. It's become a way to know him. It's not just about hearing his voice clearly. It's about hearing who he is. And that shifted my mornings into something sacred. I'd been praying Psalm 46 for weeks, stillness cutting through chaos, his presence anchoring me. Life was steadier, work flowed, home tensions eased. But one quiet Sunday, I felt a pull to linger. I sat by my window, the world soft before dawn, and read the whole psalm again, slow. Verse 5 caught me. God is within her. She will not fall. God will help her at break of day. I'd focused on stillness, strength, but this God within, helping at dawn, felt personal. I prayed it, "Lord, you're within me. Speak at break of day." As the sun rose, a thought settled. Not a word like trust, but a sense, I'm here, not just to guide, but to be with you. It wasn't direction, it was him, closer than I'd grasped. Tears came, not from need, but awe. Hearing his voice wasn't just answers, it was his nearness. That shifted my mornings entirely. I'd been seeking instructions, jobs, fixes, but this was communion. I kept praying it, adding verse 5. "You're within me, help me hear you today." One day, work hit hard, a project failed. I prayed it, felt him there. Not just fixing, but holding me. Calm came. Ideas followed. Another morning, I woke heavy, old fears resurfacing. I lingered with it, heard his whisper, "I'm your refuge." Peace grew, not from solutions, but present. It showed up beyond mornings. I'd pause midday, breathe Psalm 46, and feel him in a meeting, a quiet moment. Hearing him became knowing him, his strength in my weakness, his help at every dawn. Have you ever thought his voice might be more than guidance, that it's him drawing near? This wasn't just clarity, it was connection. I read John 10:27. "My sheep listen to my voice. I know them, and they follow me." And saw it, hearing him, builds relationship, not just results. One evening I shared it with a friend struggling. She prayed it, felt him too, and we cried together, closer to him and each other. My mornings weren't about mastering stillness. They were about meeting him, the God within, who steadies me. Challenges didn't stop, work pressed. Doubts lingered. But his voice was his presence, and that changed everything. I'd sit sun rising and feel it, not just peace, but him, my refuge, my help, right there. Here's what I want you to see. Hearing God's voice clearly is hearing him with you. Psalm 46 gives you both. Try this. Tomorrow, pray it all. Verse 1. For strength. 10 for stillness. 5 for his nearness. Lord, you're within me. Speak. Be with me. Wait. Feel him. Not just words, but presence. For me, that Sunday dawn turned listening into knowing. His voice a heartbeat, not a broadcast. I believe he's waiting to meet you there too. Just one prayer, one psalm, every morning. I've opened up about those frantic days, desperate to hear God's voice through job loss and chaos, until Psalm 46:10, "Be still and know that I am God," broke through with clarity. You've seen how distractions muddied it, and Psalm 46:1, "God is our refuge and strength, An ever-present help kept me tuned to him, even in the noise. Then Psalm 46:5, God is within her, she will not fall, revealed his nearness, turning hearing into knowing. But now, I want to take you to the moment it all came alive. A morning that sealed this truth and filled me with a joy I need you to experience. Because his voice is waiting for you too, clear and close. It was a gentle spring day. Months into praying, I'd been starting mornings with it. Stillness, strength. His presence, guiding me through work and home with a steady peace. That morning I woke early. The world hushed and sat by my open window, Bible in hand. I prayed it full. Lord, my refuge, my strength, be present. I'm still, you're within me. Help me at dawn. As I spoke, the first birds sang, soft light spilled in, and I felt it, not a nudge, not a word, but him, warm, real, like a friend sitting close. I whispered, I hear you, you're here, and tears fell, not from struggle but from this overwhelming sense of God with me. The day waited, bills, tasks, but I stepped into it different. His voice a presence I carried, not just a sound I chased. That spring morning was my climax. The day I knew hearing God wasn't just guidance, it was him, alive in me. I kept it up, mornings with Psalm 46, stillness opening my ears, his nearness filling my heart. A tough call came, work pressure. I prayed it, felt him, stayed calm. A friend shared pain. I listened, prayed it with her, and we found him together. Challenges didn't fade. Life pressed on, but his voice was my anchor, clear because he was close. I'd sit with that psalm, sunrise glowing, and feel it, not just peace, but him, my refuge, speaking through the quiet. One day I helped a neighbor. He'd lost hope, and my prayer became his. He smiled, renewed. This isn't just my gift, it's yours. Waiting in his word every morning. Here's my heart for you. You can hear God's voice clearly, starting today. Psalm 46 is your key. That gentle dawn showed me it's not a skill, it's a meeting. He's ready. So here's your step, tomorrow. Wake up, open to Psalm 46. Read verses 1, 5, 10, slow. Lord, my strength, be present. You're within me, help me. I'm still speak. Wait, 30 seconds, a minute, feel him there. Say it, I hear you, you're with me. Do it daily this week, 5 minutes by your bed, your window, anywhere. For me, it was bird song and a prayer that turned silence into his voice. What will it be for you? I believe he's longing to speak. Not just words, but himself, clear, close, every morning. Let's keep this alive. Hit that like button if this touched you, because it's straight from my soul. Leave a comment. What's one way you'll seek his voice tomorrow? I'll read every one. Your story lifts me too. Share this with someone searching. It might be their dawn. If you're not subscribed, join us. We're growing closer to him together, and I'd love you here for more. God's voice is yours, friends. Start your day with Psalm 46 and hear him clearly. See you soon.